Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be installing a brake light behind the spare wheel on the 2021 Ford Bronco. This kit is by Xomzema and it's designed to go on an Outer Banks Non-Sasquatch Bronco. As you can see, we've got a Sasquatch Bronco. So the problem with this is that it has a smaller diameter hole around the camera, so it doesn't seat all the way down on the back. So what I had to do with this one was trim the hole and make it larger so it would fit over the Sasquatch camera. So let's go check this out. A big thank you to Xomzema for providing the product for this video. This spare wheel brake light is a simple plug and play installation. It's got a bright LED pattern that lights up when the brake pedal's pressed. And it simply plugs directly into the third brake light. The first step for installation is to remove your spare wheel. Once removed, you have easy access to the third brake light housing. Using a T30 Torx bit, remove the 4 bolts that hold the mounting bracket for the third brake light in place. And now using a T25 Torx bit, remove the 8 bolts that are holding the upper mounting plate together. There are 6 bolts that you can see, and then 2 that are hidden. Once removed, you can separate the backing from the third brake light mount. It simply pulls apart. When you mount the brake light to the tire carrier, I recommend that you have the wire facing to the left as you put it on. Route the connector and wire through the left-hand side and up through the tire carrier. Pull it up and through the left-hand side of the third brake light mount. Disconnect the factory connector. Plug in the connector from the spare wheel brake light. And then plug in the other connector into the OEM factory brake light. It's a good idea to test out the brake light just to make sure all the connections are good. And here you can see it is nice and bright. So here's where I had an issue. When you put the spare wheel back on, I could see that there wasn't enough thread left on the lugs to be able to tighten them down. The brake light disc was not going over the camera properly, so I had to cut about a ½ inch ring out of the center of the brake light. That helped it seat perfectly. So now I was able to tidy up the wiring for the spare wheel brake light and hide it in the third brake light housing. Using the T25 Torx bit, tighten down all 8 bolts that hold it together. Using the T30 Torx bit, tighten it down to the spare tire carrier. Now you can put your spare wheel back on and test out the brake light. It really lights up nice and bright in there. So I did have a challenge with this kit. It's designed for a non-Sasquatch Bronco. The issue is that the aperture for the light to go over the camera is not large enough. The Sasquatch Bronco obviously has a bigger wheel, needs a bigger opening for it. So what I had to do was I actually had to trim that hole larger in order to fit it on. So you can make it work for a Sasquatch Bronco, but right out of the box, it's not going to do that right now. But with that said, I did make it work, and as you can see, it looks great. It's really bright, comes on with the brake light instantly, and it really lights up that back wheel so people know that you're coming to a stop. So let me know in the comments what you think. I know it's a very controversial thing because it's a Jeep thing, but to me, it's a safety thing. If you can light up the back of the Bronco, make sure people aren't going to rear end you, I think that's a win-win. Let me know in the comments below, what are your thoughts on this? If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, maybe subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.